It was a low blow for the respondents on Monday when the petitioners presented this video recording of INEC's resident electoral commissioner Mike Igini, speaking on the perfected plans of the commission to transmit results electronically to an INEC server.
What we have done to bring about transparency, openness to issues about the results declared at the polling unit now being at variance at the work collection center, we now have two collection officers for the first time at the work collection center. What they call the RAT tech, or the e-collection officer, and the manual collection officer.
The television interview, which took place a day after the election was postponed on February 16, 2019, assured of a near foolproof measure to guarantee the credibility and fidelity of the postponed election.
After I have sent that data as a presiding officer, the cameraman and yourself, you are the two collection officers. Before I get to you, without talking to me, without any form of communication, we have granted you access to our central server. You will see what I have transmitted without talking to me.
Another news recording of the INEC chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, saying, quote, that the commission is pioneering and hopes to deploy a new platform for the collation and electronic transmission of results of the 2019 elections was presented before the court. For the petitioners, the two certified video materials and other newspaper reports, which were admitted as exhibits, spoke to the genuineness of their claim about a server. But the respondents, particularly the second respondent, Muhammadu Buhari, were eager to put out a disclaimer. However, the attempt to present it via a video recording using the equipment earlier brought in by the PDP was refused. Consequently, the case was adjourned till Tuesday to enable Buhari's lawyers bring in their equipment. Very early on Tuesday's resumed hearing, the respondents rolled in their equipment, a plasma screen and a video connector. At about 9:30 a.m., the justices take their seats. On the witness stand to complete his cross-examination by the respondents' counsel is Atiku spokesman Segun Showumi, the witness whose evidence in chief was used to tender the discomforting video materials on Monday. The respondents asked the courts to be allowed to present their own video recording, but the PDP and Atiku legal team object, arguing that their witness, Showumi, cannot be used by the respondent to present any evidence as he is not the maker of the video material sought to be presented by Buhari's lawyer. Leading the petitioners team for the day is Chris Uche, senior advocate of Nigeria, who refers to the pre-hearing schedule order made by the court to the effect that the parties can tender documents from the bar and through a witness. In the case of the respondents, the petitioners argue that they did not mandatorily list the documents to be tendered, neither was it front-loaded. And even if it did, it has to be done through their own witness. But as it was the previous day, the court directs the petitioners to put down in writing their oral objections which they have raised against the admissibility of the video material and file it at the address stage of the petition. With the court's clear, the video material, which contains an interview with the INEC chairman, wherein he spoke on the challenges of fully implementing electronic transmission of results into an INEC server, is played. The exclusive interview with Channels Television shows Professor Yakubu talking about connectivity black spots that may hinder successful transmission of results.
Recall that we had some discussions with the Nigerian Communications Commission. And through the Communications Commission, we had meetings with the telecom service providers, the telcos. And we have identified blind spots in Nigeria that are not covered by any of the networks. How do you effectively transmit results from those blind spots? In order to address the issue of the blind spots, we also had a meeting with the Nigerian Communications Satellite. We have not concluded our discussions with the Nigerian Communications Satellite in that respect. There are twin issues. The first one is communication. With several blind spots, how do you communicate? Secondly, the percentage of the country that is covered by 2G, let alone 3G or 4G network, and we have no 5G in Nigeria, is really small. How do you, in addition to sending results from the polling units, raw results meaning figures, which is just like sending a text message, and also sending copies of the EC8A, because sending figures is different from sending image. So we have challenge in the area of communication. But secondly, and equally importantly, we have a challenge in the area of security.
This is a part of the video evidence which is played by the Buhari legal team before the court. But there is another part of that same interview footage that is left out, which is this.
We are going to pilot the electronic transmission, collation and transmission of results, but will not be used for the purpose of making declaration of winners in the election.
The INEC chairman interview date is February 6. On the 16th of February, the presidential election is postponed. A day later, on the 17th of February, electoral commissioners speaking on INEC's preparation for the postponed election says this to the same TV station.
We now have evidence trail. The fact that I'm aware that at the polling unit, the same result is there. The duplicate has been given to the party agent. I have transmitted the central server without talking to me, but of you, you have seen that result. By the time I get to the polling, to the work collation center, it will be taken away from me as a presiding officer. The e-collation officer would have to confirm whether what is on the result sheet is the same thing I have transmitted in the presence of party agent, duly accredited observer, sent to the central server.
The petitioners have berated what was presented by Buhari's legal team.
There is no cause for any anxiety at all. Today alone, we called 9 witnesses. Apart from that, the video they brought, which to us was of no moment, of no evidential value, was also played. And we also, the whole world saw that there was nothing in it to cancel the issue of e-collation and e-transfer or transference of voting to a central server. So we were expecting a bombshell to cancel what we did yesterday. We didn't even see a knockout sound, not to talk of a bombshell. So I believe that we had a good deal and that the petition is progressing very well. We believe that justice will be done.
Incidentally, no member of the Buhari legal team is willing to speak after the court hearing. Apart from the controversial video material brought in by the respondent, the court also recorded testimony from 9 more witnesses of the petitioners who spoke to some of the infractions that took place during the election, ranging from overvoting to illegal cancellation of votes. A new line of evidence is also led by the petitioners in their reply to the respondent as regards the citizenship status of the PDP candidate Atiku Abubakar. The APC had alleged that Atiku is not a citizen of Nigeria by birth and so was not qualified to stand election. The petitioners brought in a former ambassador to Romania, Michael Samaki, who in his evidence in chief adopted before the court speaks of his knowledge of Atiku and his parentage, especially his mother, Aisha Kwande. According to him, Atiku was born in Jada town on the 25th of November 1946, and that his records are not confidential when asked under cross-examination if he is a custodian of Atiku's records to know about his heritage. Another witness, Muhammad Kabir Hayatu, corroborated the averment of the first witness, adding that Atiku hails from Jada province and his part of Jada at no time was part of the French-administered northern Cameroon. Hearing continues on Wednesday. Utabo Morin, AIT News, Abuja.